Hey guys, I'm Starlight Skies, and this is Gamkedo Club, meeting 8 of 2018, quarter 4, November 25th. Now we have H for G type.
This is G-Type, week 13. It's the 25th of November, and lots of polish completed this week. We were able to take advantage of the three people who contributed to the beta test and provided us with some feedback. They gave us a bunch of really good feedback, and we were able also to take advantage of some things that Jeff Hanlon identified during a bunch of his playthroughs. So not a lot of stuff is visibly new in the game this week, but lots of really clean things cleaned up. And throughout the demonstration today, I've got people's names listed next to future tasks, and I just pulled those straight off the Trello. So if your name is listed either in the Trello or on the slideshow on something, and you're not sure you're going to be able to finish it up in the next 2 weeks, it'd be great if you just go ahead and take your name off of it in the Trello so other people know that they can jump in and try and take care of that if that's something they're interested in and they think they can get it done before launch in just 2 weeks. So we'll get right ahead with it. So art, it was Vaughn's week. This isn't even close to everything he contributed art-wise this week. He has probably a dozen or 15 more pieces of artwork that are specifically for level 3, but he tweaked three bosses. He added dozens of blocks for the level 3 and 3 enemy shots to go with the bosses. So just an amazing amount of work for art this week from Vaan. So thank you very much, Vaan. It's looking great. Can't wait. And then I tweaked some of the player missiles and shots in order to reduce the amount of rotation we're doing on a frame-by-frame basis in order to improve the performance of the game. For next week, looking for level 2 foreground. Again, that's the rock formations or whatever. And level 3 foreground is going to be, some sort of interior stuff that might slide by. And potentially some more ground-based enemies to roll along some of these blocks that Vaan created. So that's kind of what we're looking at for art next week. For audio, Vignesh gave us the In the End Bosca, which I think we're going to use as the Beat the Game music. So I think that's going to be really nice. And once again, Chris Markle committed these two sound effects, the menu and UI selection sound effects, before last meeting, but after I recorded the update video. So these are in the game, and they're great, and really appreciate that. For next week, Koi Compositions is signed up to do just general level 3 music and level 3 boss music, so be great. Still looking for Game Over, so when you get that last player ship explosion and then you shift to the game over and see the high scores, some sort of sad music would be awesome. Special effects, looking for the same 3 special effects. I went ahead and added Trello cards for these so that if somebody can get to them, they can sign up for them. But music's coming right along. That's the full list of all the audio that we're tracking in the Trello that needs to be or that can be added to the game. So coming right along there. Code, lots of code done this week. Had over 100 commits on the game this week, so that's amazing in 1 week. Or, well, I guess it's just a little over a week. Since the last time I recorded an update, it was 100 commits, so amazing. Remy fixed a bug in the particle emitter, or really in how we were using it, that was causing some crashes after the player exploded, so that's working much better, so that's great. Vaan did some code with a lot of the artwork that he incorporated. So the iBoss and the mini boss, they're added into Tiled and they have behaviors now. He also limited the high score so it only reports the highest 3 instead of a bunch of them. That was one of the pieces of feedback we got from the beta testers. So that was great. Krister did some polish on the ship thruster particles, so that's looking really good. He created a system where we can adjust how dark the background is, trying to create more contrast between things that can't affect the player ship and things that can, so that people will focus on the dangerous stuff. And then created adjustable parallax scrolling for the foreground objects as well, so that's great. Ryan did some cleanup of the file system for the game, which is great. And Jeff gave us updates to the stories, a bunch of playtesting, and ID'd a bunch of bugs and improvements. and tweaked player shot placement. So when you shoot, it looks like the player shot comes from the appropriate place on the sprite. So that's great. For next week, we identified a possible method to beat the volcano mini boss, to actually shoot the volcano lots and lots and lots, in case you can do that instead of destroying all the little things that it's emitting. Came up with an idea for multiple endings, really just a story thing. It would happen right at the end. I think it'd be easy to adjust. We just got to decide if we want to do it. The demo scene, so Michelle started on that, so that's a work in progress. And we got boss behaviors. Vaan started on that. We're going to have to jump in and get some more of that done. And Vignesh has signed up to do the HQ invasion boss. So lots of good code done this week, and a fair bit coming for next week. But we're looking real good. For design, so levels 1 and 2 are done. Cutscenes 1, 2, and 3 are done. Warp Zone is done. So we need a beat the game cutscene. So you beat the game, you fly off into the sun or something like that, and that's what we need. And then level 3, we need to actually do that. That's going to be the major push for the next 2 weeks. We have a little bit more art, a fair bit of code, and design for level 3. So that's the real key right there. A little bit of text for the for beating the game, and Jeff and I have talked about that a little bit, so I think we'll get that added in fairly easily. And Vignesh and Curvy have signed up for playtesting, and I added Jeff's name because he's been doing an amazing job at playtesting, and my gut tells me he's going to do some more for us. So that's design this week. For marketing, week 12 video has 175 views, and the pitch is up to almost 550, so that's a little bit higher than it was last week when I said the same thing. Week 12 video has almost 5,000 impressions and almost 60 total engagements. Screenshot Saturday. So this week we did 5,200 impressions, which is pretty typical for us, and 740 media views, also pretty typical. Look at last week's impressions, 10,000. So that's the second highest we've gotten. We had 12,000 that one week, but 10,000 on last week's Screenshot Saturday. So really appreciate everybody engaging on that. That was the one where we announced the beta test. And then the closed beta, we had 3 people respond and provide us with feedback. There are 2 more weeks for people to jump in there and do that, so we'd like to go ahead and keep trying to push on that a little bit. If the feedback from any future beta testers is anything like the feedback we've already received, the game will be amazing for it. So pushing on the closed beta there. Do a quick demo. Okay, so we'll show the demo of the game. It starts off with the demo mode, comes back to title screen, shows off the story mode, and then comes back to title screen. So that's working out great. Help menu, added a bunch of text to the help menu to try and make it clearer how the game is played. That's part of the feedback from our beta testers. Options is pretty well unchanged. And then credits. We got a bunch of the credits in there that Chris DeLeon added for us, so that's great. And other than that, let's go ahead and see a little bit of gameplay. So we adjusted the cutscenes, added some text there, made them a little bit brighter. And here we go. So level 1 is basically finalized, so there's not a lot of change here. But just wanted to show off a little bit of how it's going. So there we go. Crashed and didn't lose my particle emitter, so that's good news. Okay, so that's the demo. Next, we'll go ahead and show the Trello. So here we are, the 25th of November, week 13. You can see we've got critical path stuff. This is all HQ invasion stuff, except for the demo scene, which needs to be tweaked just to take account of level 1 now, and Michelle's working on that, so that's great. So lots of level 3 stuff that needs to happen. So rough layout, boss behavior, and that's really the critical path. And then Chris will give us some credits. He's been kind enough to help us out with that a little bit already. So other than that, we're looking for some foreground sprite sheets for levels 2 and 3, a little bit of music, some play testing. Sound effects, game over music, a little bit of ending story, beat the game cutscene, and then potentially different branching story mode at the end. maybe a little bit of discussion on how we convince the player that X is the shoot button, since it is. And then next week is release. So really coming right along, and was a great week this week, and looking forward to the next 2 weeks. That's it for G-Type. Thanks.
All right. Kisei for Warp's Radar.